What my Lord is putting to me is that I must demonstrate that I am administering as a Muslim the university. No.
Otherwise, if your argument today is right, that once you have established, you are entitled to decide how to administer, then there was no reason to challenge the
No, there is
51
a
and the
reason.
65
With
amendments.
respect, there is a reason, Mullah. The reason was they took over the entire control of the university. I was under Basha, not a minority institution.
Therefore,
I was not a minority institution under
therefore,
Basha.
taking away, how did they take away the control of the university? They took away the control by, for instance, regulating. First, it said that the proviso to 23 was deleted. Secondly, the constitution of the court was altered.
Correct.
Then they brought in the concept of a visitor.
Correct.
They brought in a whole lot of other changes.
I agree, Mullah. I'm happy with 81. I have no problem with 81.
That's exactly. But you're not. You can't be happy with 81.
Why?
81 doesn't go far enough.
No, it's far enough for me, Mullah. Please appreciate what I'm saying. It is far enough for me. It's not the end, Mullah. It happens to be just the beginning of my argument.
You've got 1 hour and 15 minutes.
I can't possibly finish, Mullah.
We'll close today. We have another matter listed next week. Today,
it's impossible to.
We don't mind continuing beyond 4 o'clock, but Mrs. Sibal,
I have not raised any new point. I'm just trying to answer.
No, but this point which you have made, that it's your right to establish, it's your right to administer, and merely because you choose any third party to administer doesn't take away your right to administer in a manner which you think is appropriate. That's the point.
That's the point. That's the point, Mullah.
It's a right and not a condition.
Yeah, that's correct. That's all, Mullah. It's not a right, not a condition, Mullah. Absolutely right. Not a directive, not a condition, not a directive. St. Stephen says so. So, Mullah, having said that, Mullah, now see what mistake Basha made. Mullah, TMA Pi answers the question of 8. TMA Pi answers the question of affiliation. None of these conditions, Mullah, can take away from the character of the minority institution. So that, Mullah, is already covered by 11, this judgment of 11 judges. But, Mullah, kindly see, if your lordships don't mind, Mullah, placitum G, paragraph 3A, at page 16. Between E and F, Mullah, you see the two words in Article 30 must be read together. And so read, the article gives the right to a minority to administer institutions established by it. If the educational institution has not been established by a minority, it cannot claim the right to administer under 30. Perfectly good. Then, Mullah, what does the argument? We have therefore to consider, to examine closely what happened in 1920 when the Act was passed to decide whether in the face of the Act it could be said that Aligarh was established by the minority, whether the right to administer it ever vested in the minority. This is ultimately the conclusion. I'm sorry. In paragraph F, nor do we think that the provisions of the Act can bear out the contention that it was a Muslim minority which was administering the Aligarh University. Well, this is wholly irrelevant. That's not the test. The issue is not whether the Muslim minority were administering the university. Already, Mullah, the Basha said, if you've established it, you have a right to administer.
But then why did you challenge the 1951 and 1965 amendments?
I'm sorry?
Why were you mean the sense? Why was the 1951 and 1965 amendments challenged in the first place?
Because it took away my right to administer.
Right. Therefore, that's exactly the point. So the 1951 and 1965 amendments were challenged.
I did not challenge, but somebody challenged.
Right. AMU didn't challenge.
Yes.
It was challenged on the ground that both these amendments took away the right to administer.
Yes.
How did it take away the right to administer? By creating institutions for the governance of the university in which people who are not of the faith or of the confidence of the founders would be brought in. That was the essence of the challenge. Otherwise, if your argument today is right, that once you have established, you are entitled to decide how to administer, then there was no reason to challenge the 51 and the 65 amendments.
With respect, there is a reason, Mullah. The reason was they took over the entire control of the university. I was under Basha, not a minority institution.
Therefore,
I was not a minority institution under Basha.
Taking away, how did they take away the control of the university? They took away the control by, for instance, regulating. First, it said that the proviso to 23 was deleted. Secondly, the constitution of the court was altered.
Correct.
Then they brought in the concept of a visitor. They brought in a whole lot of other changes. Now, that was alleged to be, that was challenged on the ground that it takes away the right to administer.
Correct.
Now, if that be so, if 81 is not under challenge.
No.
Now, if 81 does not restore the position as it stood entirely prior to 1951,
Yes.
then the amendment which is not in challenge has not, though it purported to do that, it has not in fact restored the position prior to 1951.
I agree, Manoj. I'm happy with 81. I have no problem
That's
with
no,
81.
that's exactly. But you're not. You can't be happy with 81.
Why?
Because 81 doesn't go far enough.
No, it's far enough for me, Manoj. Please appreciate what I'm saying. It is far enough for me. I am 74 out of 104 in the external members. The court is restored. My voice is heard. The Old Boys Association are represented.
But that's
I'm
not
happy with
because
that.
that is not because of the 81 amendment. It is about how the working has actually panned out.
No, it's in the 81 amendment,
No.
Manoj. I'm sorry. It's in
81. If you look at the 81 amendment, the Constitution of the Court, it doesn't give you 74 out of 104.
It does. It does. It does. I'll show it to you. It does, Manoj. I don't. Point is, I don't.
But
This is the mistake I am making, Manoj. Or I'm sorry. This is not the issue at all. As I said to you, on that ground, St. Stephen's is not a minority institution.
But if you are right,
Yes.
that once you establish,
Yes.
then irrespective of whether you administer or not, it's your choice.
I
You
didn't
can leave
say that.
administration to a
I
third
didn't
party.
say that. Irrespective, once I establish it, if the government interferes in my right to administer, I can challenge it. That's all. Nothing more than that. If there are regulations which seek to destroy that right, I can challenge it. Well, that's the limited argument I'm making. I can even challenge some of the 81, but I'm happy with it because it continues. My character is maintained. I have no problems with it. What my Lord is putting to me is that I must demonstrate that I am administering as a Muslim the university. No. I was at that point in time in 1920. I don't have to go back to that position. Where does regulation end and infringement begin, Manoj? That's the question. That's my right. I have to decide that. The court may not decide. Where does regulation end and where does the infringement begin is something I have to decide, Manoj.
Well, the difficulty is when we started the arguments, you said we are not going to the question of or, we accepting or should be read as and. Now your argument today is slightly different. What you are saying is once the minority decides to establish, within inverted commas, establish an institution, then two rights flow. One is they have the right to establish, which is the first right, which is connected with the rights of the minority to establish. And there's a second right to administer. Right to administer cannot be read as a condition precedent for declaration as a minority.
That's right. That's what
It's
I've
the
always maintained.
consequence, not the condition.
Yes, I've always maintained that, Manoj.
Now you raise the argument in a very different way.
No, Manoj, but I have always been saying this. And the other day I said to my Lord, the Chief Justice said, that means if you give up your right, you're happy with it. I said that, Manoj, I remember that.
Because now you are arguing and should not be read as or.
It cannot be read as or, Manoj. And it's a right, Manoj. There's no question of or. Manoj, it is and.
You have both the rights.
Yes, I have both rights. I have always said that. I've never said or, Manoj. I've never contended or. It's a right. It's a right to establish and a right to administer. Now, my right, when somebody infringes my right, whether it's the university or the government, I can challenge it. But to the extent I'm administering it, I feel that if this element of free play in the joints is good enough for me, I'm happy with it.